Now, if you've ever tried paddleboarding, you'll know how hard it is. It takes a load of balance and a certain amount of strength just to stay standing up. So imagine, if you can, doing it for 8 hours across the Irish Sea.
I don't think I could manage 8 minutes. I have tried. Around 8 seconds, I think, was what I managed.
Pushing it.
8 hours, though, that's what Adrian Angel has just done. The 57-year-old paddled almost 40 miles from the Isle of Man to Seascale on the Cumbrian coast, where he grew up. Kate Walby has the story.
We are launched.
This is the moment Adrian Angel begins his journey across the Irish Sea.
Adrian Angel is paddleboarding from the Point of Ayre on the Isle of Man to Seascale in Cumbria, which is 35 miles that way.
The 57-year-old, who now lives in America, is more used to paddleboarding in Hawaii, but this was a trip he'd thought about since he was a child.
I did a lot of windsurfing on that beach in Seascale growing up, so I was quite familiar with the Irish Sea. But I just never had been out as far as the Isle of Man, never been to the Isle of Man, and it just seemed like a cool thing to do.
With months of training behind him, the distance wasn't a worry. But as Adrian knows, the British weather can be unkind.
After leaving the shore, it was very, very quickly we couldn't see land, actually. And then there was a bit of difficult patch between, I think, miles 10 and 15, where the wind was coming from the south and I was going from the west to the east. And so I was getting hit by waves and wind from one side. So that was a little bit tough for a while, just paddling on one side for about an hour. And so I was very happy when that wind calmed down, and the rest of the crossing was smooth and calm, and all the way into Seascale.
18.8 miles to run, so we're doing all right. Still ticking along at just under 5 knots.
Keeping him company and safe along the way was a Manx support crew.
We did have a day of all 4 seasons, really. We had rain at one point, we had fog. The ferry was cancelled from Heysham, or delayed from Heysham that day, so there was fog certainly further south. I'm not the biggest advocate of paddleboarding. I'm just not very good at paddleboarding. I'm not very good at it at all, so I fall off a lot. So for me, it would have been a heck of a lot longer than 8 hours. So I would think me being in the boat was the best place for me.
A hero's welcome greeted Adrian as he arrived in Seascale 8 hours later. So has he managed to paddle his way into the record books?
Very confident I'm the first stand-up paddleboarder to paddleboard across the Irish Sea from the Isle of Man to England. I've been dialoguing with the Guinness World Records to see if I can establish a record. They're not quite convinced it's iconic enough, I don't think, but I'm still working on it.
Each year, Adrian embarks on a paddleboarding challenge to raise money for Diabetes UK. Now back on dry land, he's already planning the next one. Kate Walby, ITV News.
So much, not iconic enough, it's amazing.
It's terrific, isn't it?
It really is impressive, yeah.
Well done, Adrian. Right, any crosswinds on the way? And let's get the forecast. Here's Emma.
Why do I need a shower? I've been out in the rain.
The faster you go, the sooner you'll be out. You'll save water too.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Border Weather.
Hello there, I hope you've had a lovely day and you're having a nice evening. It's very difficult weather really to convey properly at the moment because yes, it does feel warm in any sunshine, but also there are different components battling it out. There's a bit of a breeze at times, some cloud from time to time as well. But generally high pressure is going to dominate, and you can see that jet stream stays well to the north of us, so maintaining that high pressure over us. So things staying settled for the foreseeable future. There was a secondary centre of high pressure out to the east of us that was going to be trying to establish itself, but we think it's the high pressure to the west that's going to win out. An 82% chance of that, meaning dry and settled mostly. The high to the east would have meant potentially some thunderstorms and warmer temperatures. But taking a look at the next few hours, if we just take a look at the more localised picture, you can see it turns cloudier, particularly through the western slice of our patch overnight tonight. Out to the east, that's where the clearer skies are. Could be some isolated low cloud and mist in 1 or 2 spots, and temperatures 7 to 10 Celsius. A little bit breezier at the west coast today, but those winds ease down overnight tonight. Into tomorrow, the sun's up at 4:51, sets at 9:27. We expect a brief improvement once any early cloud in the west has cleared. However, then another